Hello and welcome to this tutorial about Active Directory administration with PowerShell. In this tutorial, you will learn about the day-to-day Active Directory administration, automation, and bulk operations of Active Directory objects through PowerShell. My name is Navneet Kumar. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and the founder of TrainCrash Technologies. In this tutorial, you will learn about the core concepts like the Active Directory module for PowerShell, the commandlets available in the module, the use cases for different commands, the pipeline to perform the bulk operations, sending the objects from one command to the other command and performing bulk operations, scripting, how to automate the object creation or manipulation. After that, we will talk about the Active Directory object management, and the Active Directory object that we will manage in this tutorial are the user accounts, the groups, computer accounts, and the organizational units. So without any further delay, let's get into the demo on managing Active Directory objects using PowerShell. Well, I'm connecting to a domain controller machine to perform the day-to-day activity tasks through the PowerShell for managing these Active Directory objects. You will notice that on the left that Active Directory domain services is deployed and is displayed over here. You will notice that there are Active Directory management tools like Administrative Center, Domains and Trust. Active Directory modules for Windows PowerShell is there, sites and user services, users and computers, and ADSI editor. So I will be using the Active Directory module for Windows PowerShell. This module is installed or copied when you install the Active Directory binaries on a machine for the first time. To launch this, I can launch the Active Directory module for PowerShell from here. What it does is it launches a PowerShell instance with the Active Directory module imported. If I show you the get module command, you will see that the Active Directory module has been loaded. Though it is not necessary that you will have to have launch it from here, you can launch the PowerShell in general, and it can be PowerShell as an administration. You will as an admin you will be launching as an administrator. So right click on the Windows PowerShell, run as administrator, and that's your PowerShell. Let me adjust the font size of this a little bit to make it more visible, and there we go. Well, here I make some room. Now you will notice that I don't have this module of Active Directory available in this shell, but the PowerShell version that I'm running is 3 or later. I'm running PowerShell 5.1. So we have auto background loading of the module. If I run an Active Directory related command, so the module will be loaded at the background automatically. For an instance, I run the command get AD user, and user identity is, let's say, administrator. This brings this user account. The command executes, and you will notice that the module has been loaded in the background automatically. If you want to see all the commands in this module, then you can run the command get command and then the module Active Directory. Remember, you need to learn the basics of PowerShell. You need to go into the basics to use each and everything or automate these things rather than memorizing these commands. I do not, encourage people on memorizing the commands, because if you memorize them and you do not use them for next few days or weeks, then you will forget them for sure. And how many commands can you memorize? So you have limited capacity to memorize the thing. So it is better to understand the logic behind it and use that. So that is how I can use the PowerShell to automate any application, manage any application that has the support for PowerShell. So here I will go with get command module Active Directory, and you will notice that there are dozens of commands. In fact, if I do the measure object, so it displays that there are 147 commands in this module. So it's almost next to impossible to remember all these commands. So it is better to get these commands from this module that you want to use. Now, there are so many commands over here. These commands have verb-noun syntax. If you have not gone through my video on getting started with PowerShell to understand the basics of PowerShell, then I recommend that visit that video and watch that video. It will give you all the basics of it. So what I do here is I get the command from this module Active Directory, but this time I say the verb is get. Maybe I want to do the inventory. So it shows you this time all the commands that start with get. Now I can get the AD account authorization group. I can get these things. I want to get the AD domain. In this command, I will see the Active Directory domain information. So this is my domain, and this domain is actually the forest is adatum.com, and I'm having one single domain in this, so forest root domain, and DNS root for this is adatum.com that it is using in this forest. The name is adatum, NetBIOS name, single label name is this. The PDC emulator role is running on this. Okay, so it's a PDC emulator server, and some other attributes you see. Deleted object container is this deleted object container. I have Active Directory recycle bin enabled on it. So you can see the attributes of the Active Directory domain over here. Now I go back to those commands again, and now I want to get the AD domain controller, that what are the different domain controllers available. So this domain controller is the computer object which is London DC1, and this is into this domain at atom.com, and these are some other attributes of this, and this is the SSL port 636 it is using, and some other attributes like NTDS settings, the name of this, the 389, the LDAP port that it is using to query, and the IP address of this is 172.16.0.10. So these are the attributes of the domain controller. If I go back to this command once again, and I want to get the, let's say, domain controller password replication policy, what it is configured with, so I can inquire about that. So I can do all that sort of identity. Okay, for an instance, what is the policy for administrator? So I need to take help policy, and for identity, what will come under the identity? So here I will see this command, and this is get AD domain controller password policy for the domain controller, excuse me. So it is to be the domain controller, the identity will be London DC1, and it was my bad to oversee that it was actually for the domain controller's password policies, and there is nothing, I don't see any policy for this. So in this way you can get the Active Directory users, computers, AD organizational units you want to see. So you have a command for that. Filter. The filter is required because you may have hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of objects in your Active Directory. So it is better to do a filter. Right now I have queried all of them by using this star, not defining any filter. But if I want, I can filter them by using any attribute. For an instance, the name starts with M. If I want to do that, so I will say filter, and then single quotes, and then the name of the attribute. Then I will use the like operator. I have done a separate video on operators. Then I will go with this double quotes, and will put the, let's say, M and then star. I have used this wildcard that I don't care any sequence of characters after M. There can be anything. So I want to know those organizational units. So then it will get all those organizational units starting their name with M. So this is how that filtering has been done, and it is quite handy to do this filtering. Suppose if you are not aware about this pattern to define the filter, so you hit enter, and you notice that last time it prompted me for filter because it's a mandatory parameter. So if you don't know what to do, then you can take help. The developer has given you a help. So this is the help for the parameter. So I use this exclamation mark and the question mark. How do you provide the help to your functions? I have done a separate video on that, also on writing advanced functions. So now if I hit enter, it shows me that okay, you can filter them by their name or something like, and then so on. So you need to define the attribute by which you want to filter the operator, and then the value. You can use the wildcards if you're not sure about the value that you are supposed to provide here. So for an instance, last time I did it by name. This time I want to do it by any other attribute. So that I need to know first, that what different attributes are there for these objects, like based on the object class or based on the object GUID I want to filter. So I can use these attributes. So if I say I want to get the AD organizational unit, but filter, and filter by, or it will prompt me for that. So there I run this command first of all, and this was object GUID property. Actually, I just wanted to know what property it was. I just forgot. So here we go, and I hit enter. It says okay, by which property you're looking for. So I'm saying this is object GUID. PowerShell is not case sensitive, you can use any case. Object GUID equals, because I'm sure about this time, so I need not to use the wildcard, and then the single quote where I will provide this value, which is a string value actually. So it will query for that and will return that object to you. So this is how you can filter these AD organizational units. Now to deal with these AD organizational units, I have few other commands as well. In this command, this AD organization unit was the noun. So I will get the command where the noun is AD organization unit. I want to know all the commands related to this. I have a command new AD organizational unit, and then I create this organization unit by a name, and the name that I provide is, for an instance, this is for demo OU I've created. If I define the path, then it will go to that particular location, otherwise it will be redirected to your domain. So an OU will be deployed. If I get the AD organizational units and I say the filter, or I say filter star for all of them, so I will see that demo OU has been deployed. Right now there is no object in that. So in fact, let me show you some other commands related to this. I have the command to modify the AD organization unit. So I will take this command, set AD organizational unit. Now I will paste it. I will put hyphen question mark to see what are the different parameters available in it. For instance, I want this to be protected from accidental deletion, and I can provide a boolean value as true or false. So I can configure it accordingly. Display name, managed, any attribute that I want to set. Here in this, there is identity parameter, which is actually mandatory. So I will have to provide this parameter to deal with this. So what I'll do is I will go to this set AD organization unit. Identity is, the name is having a white space in it. So demo OU, that is why I'm putting it into the single quote. Now I will define the attribute, let's say description. Just for testing purpose, I'm creating it. If I want to protect from accidental deletion, $true false, so I can define that. Cannot find the object with this identity demo OU under DC adatum DC com. Okay, all right. So if I run this command, this was the demo OU. Yeah, the object is there. So it must be looking for this identity OU equals, I put the distinguished name for this, and OU equals demo OU, comma DC equals datum, comma DC equals com. I don't see any object like this. Oh, the command has been executed. Excuse me, it is not to get, it is to set. So if I check the description, get, so I had to provide the distinguished name. That is something that I overseen and ignored. So get AD organizational unit, and if I get the AD organizational unit, which is let's say by identity I'm getting it. So this identity is going to be this one. I want to get this one, this organizational unit with properties, all properties I want to see. So you will see the description mentioned this time for this. So this is the description that I provided. And protected from accidental deletion, yes, this is protected from accidental deletion. So that's how I can modify the existing OUs. Now I have the command to remove these OUs as well, so I can delete them. Next, I will work with the user accounts. I have a command to work with the users, which is new AD user. You can find that command from the Active Directory module, all AD user related commands. So we have several commands, like for working with Active Directory users, I have get command by the noun, and add user. 4 commands we have to get the Active Directory users, new or modify the existing users or delete them. Now if I want to get the Active Directory users, again it has the filter parameter there. I had to provide the filter, or I can say star. Why filter is mandatory? Because Active Directory can be quite big. It might have hundreds of thousands of accounts depending on the size of your organization, the accounts you have. So that is why this filter is there. But we not only having the filter, we have 3 different parameter sets. So the one that I was using was the filter parameter set, in which I had to define this filter, this set. Okay, so it is this unique parameter in it, but I can find the users by their identity, or I can define the LDAP filtering as well. So if I go to this, then here we have the option of LDAP filter. Okay, so LDAP query can also be provided. Now I go with this, and this time I go with the user by identity, and identity is administrator. Here we go. If I want to make a new user account, I can say new -AD user and username. Username is, let's say, ABC. And if I want, I can provide the account password. I cannot provide the password in the plain text like this, maybe pa55w.rd. I cannot do that. It will not be accepted, because if you see this new AD user and the list of the parameters in this command, and you see that account password, so it requires a secure string. So if I take you to this account expiration not delegated and authentication account password, this need to be a secure string. So if I want this to be in a secure string, then all I need to do is I need to use the parenthetical command here. And actually I'm changing the order of the processing of these commands this time with this. So I'm saying that it is the password, the plain text, and then I use the command convert to secure string, and I have provided the plain text. I will do this operation forcefully. So this plain text password will be converted into secure string in this command, and this command will be executed first. So this is how I have changed the order using the parentheses. I have done a video on parenthetical commands in PowerShell, how to use. So for more details, visit that. Right now you can think of like it is using the BODMAS rule of math, and it is opening this bracket first. So this command will be executed. So it will get the secure string and pass it on to this account password parameter. The account will be created, but you will not see any output on your screen, because this output is actually not displayed because of the multi-pipeline behavior of this command. So if you want to see that, then you will have to go with the we have the parameter to display this output, which is not displayed by default. So this parameter is actually use this parameter for um, passing the output to the next command. Yes, it is pass through actually. Yeah, so pass through. Okay, so I can use the pass through switch, and it will help me sending the command to the pipeline. In fact, it is not only for the purpose of displaying the output of the command, that whether the command has been executed or not. It is actually used for the purpose of performing the bulk operation. Suppose I have a user account ABCDE, and I want to do some more operations on top of it. Maybe I want to run my next command. So if I don't use pass through, because there is nothing in this pipe, so my next command will fail to work. It will not work. So set AD user, and let's say I'm setting the department to IT. You will notice that the user account will be created, first command will be executed, but second command will not perform these operations because the objects are not there in the pipeline. It is empty. So if I get this Active Directory user, the user identity is ABCDE, and then I go with this properties star. Here we go. So you will notice that the department attribute has not been set because pipe was empty. So if you see the department, here we go, here it is. So it is blank, it is not set. So if you are supposed to do that, then you will have to use this pass through, so that this output of this command is sent to the pipeline. I want to send it to the pipeline because in the pipeline I have next command that will process these objects. This time set AD user will also use a multi-pipeline concept and will send the output to a different pipe altogether. So if I want to process it further, I will have to use pass-through. So every time I want to send it to a pipeline, so I will have to use pass-through. Now I see that this account has been set. If I get this account with its properties, so I will see this user account over here, and this account has this property called department this time. So you will notice that this attribute has been set. So bulk operations can be done through pipeline and it can save a lot of time of yours. Rather than writing a big script, you can achieve those things with some few line of codes only. So this is how I can create or modify these users. And to remove the users, I have the command remove AD user, and this command has remove AD user. Identity is ABC, and the user account will be deleted. It will wait for your consent. I have done a video on what if for support should process, that how this confirmation prompt comes, why it comes sometimes, why it is not coming sometime to take the operations. So a detailed video has been done on that. So remove Active Directory users. Identity is ABC that I have deleted. Now if I want to create the users in bulk, so I can create them through a CSV file. I can store the objects in a CSV. So I can say notepad users.csv. I can provide some attribute based on the parameters available in the command, like name, SAM account name, which need to be unique for the users. I need to provide the, let's say, department, and then let's say the country. So as many as attributes you want to provide, you will put them comma separated on top in this file, and then you will put the user account here. Maybe this user account is Anil, so this user account SAM name will also be Anil. Department is IT, country is India. Then the another account that I want to create is Sunil, and this user account is Sunil this time, and this user account is from sales, and the country is, let's say, US. I have two users. These could be 2 or 200 or 2000 or 200,000 users. I will import this CSV, and in this CSV I have some user accounts. So users.csv. These two accounts have 4 properties for them. Each column is a property, just like in an Excel sheet in a table. Rows are the object and columns are the properties. So 2 are the objects and 4 are the properties for these objects. Now I'll pipe them into this new -AD user command. So user accounts will be created. This name will be mapped with name, so I need not to provide. The pipeline binding will bind this attribute with this name parameter, because the parameter is written to accept pipeline input by property name. Same is with the SAM account name, so this value will be bound with this one, and the department and country as well. The account password, I can provide some account password which is going to be, let's say, a generic password for all these users, but then I can ask to change the password at next logon. So password, and then I'm saying this is the password, and I'm going to convert it to secure string. Convert, and excuse me, I'm doing something wrong over here, and what's that is, this is actually here, this single quote, and I need to put my parenthesis here so that I define this order of executing this command. I recently did this as well. So convert to secure string, and in this I will provide as plain text. I will provide this forceful operation, and now this password will be converted into plain secure string and will be provided to this parameter. Any other attribute you want to provide, so you can provide them. For an instance, the company they are working for is common for all of them, so a datum, so you can use that. Okay, so this is how you can define these attributes, and you can create these user accounts. So all these user accounts will be created with these passwords. Okay, I must have used that ask password for change. Okay, at next logon, so there is a parameter here, so that is to change password at next logon. Okay, so I could have used this switch, so users will be prompted for changing their passwords. This is how I can create these users in bulk through a CSV file. I can take the inputs in the Excel sheet and convert that into the CSV, and then I can create these user accounts. Sometimes if you do not have some attributes mentioned in this CSV and you need them, for an instance, this user account is this time Anil2, Anil2 and Sunil2 and Sunil2, and some attributes are missing like the email address, the UPN for these user accounts, or some other attributes that I need, but they are not as part of this CSV. So import CSV users.csv. One way is that I can modify that CSV and add more attributes over there, or the another way is that I can manipulate the object property. So I will say select object, and object property, I will say I need to select all the properties, so all the properties come here. Now I will define few more properties in the hash table. So I'll create a hash table and I'll create a calculated property. So I'm giving the name for this property, name equals, and the name that I'm going to define for this property is, let's say, email address. So it will take that, it will create a property. Here comes the expression to define the expression or the values for this property, and I will access my objects, current objects from the pipeline. Okay, these CSV objects, custom objects, and I will use a property, let's say name. And if I have, let's say, name and first name and last name, so I can concatenate that with the underscore dot name and then underscore dot last name, like that. And then I will concatenate it with this value at, and then adatum.com. So it will pick that name and will add this at adatum.com to all these user accounts. You will see the objects with one more property. Okay, so here you will see that two user accounts have one more property, which is this. Same way you can provide the UPN, you can create multiple hash entries, hash tables over here and deal with that. Well, this time I have got these user accounts details. Now I can create these user accounts. So new AD user, and I'm not providing other parameters. I'm just using pass-through to show you that, okay, user accounts are deployed. Password I have not provided, so account will be created but will remain in the disabled state. Now to deal with the Active Directory groups, and okay, there are ways people use to create these users in bulk. Sometimes what I can do is, let's say, if I want to create these users for testing training purpose, it is not for production use, they are not required with actual names. I'm good with some random names for these users. So I can provide the users variable, okay, this array, and in that I will provide the details. Let's say demo, I want to call the users with demo user1 or something like that. So I say demo user, and then I will start a counter. In this I will define a range operator. So range, here I will provide how many I want to create. So I provided one dot dot, and let's say 10 or maybe 100. So range is from 1 to 100. Okay, so this will have these objects. Now what I'll do next is I will provide a UPN for these user accounts. That UPN I require the SAM account name that I need. So I will say SAM account name, okay, or SAM account name I can use later on. So now I have provided these two attributes, the demo user and then range. And if I want to store my domain name, let's say domain is adatum.com, so adatum.com, something like that. So you can provide department is going to be IT. If you're planning to use the values multiple times later on in your script, then you can store them into the variables. Now I will go with this for each object command, and this is a looping construct I'm using to deal with multiple objects. Now here in this for each, I will say that I want to deal with all the objects one by one. So I define a variable called user inside users. So dollar users. So there will be one object at a time. Now I will say inside this for each, let's say this new Active Directory user I want to create, this user name, uh, user's name, excuse me, name will be the dollar user, okay, not the users, and then dollar I will use the um, range, okay, so it will use that number for this. And then if I want to define the department, so this department is going to be dollar department. If I want to define the email address, then I can say dollar user, one user at a time, dollar range, it will use that number, okay. And then after this I will say plus, I will concatenate this at, then I will say plus, and then I will say this domain, so dollar domain, that is adatum.com, okay. So it will take that attribute, and then I can define the pass through. If I want to see these users created, I want to say, define the account password, so I will say account password, account password. In the parentheses I will provide this password pa55w.rd, and I will convert that to secure string as plain text forceful operation, okay. I can use splatting to avoid this stretching this single line, but anyways. So this time I want to create these user accounts. The name of the user account will be the username, and then it will use that range, the number from there. So there will be multiple objects in it actually, and because I'm in the for each loops, it will pick one at a time over here. So they will be processed one by one. Now I hit this script, and the object name has the bad syntax. Excuse me. Let me just check that what is coming up over here with this. So if I run this, so this is user demo user, and then the range, which is this 1 to 100. I provided domain is datum.com. The problem here is with this name, so dollar user, one user at a time, and we'll take this. Oh, excuse me, I did it wrong. So actually this range is an array. This is having only one value at a time, so it was my bad. So I need to define the counter here for this range. It was my bad. Now here user I will keep same as demo user, and the counter, okay. And here I will use this users. It is actually users, not user. So users, or I could have named it as users username, okay. So user name prefix or something, okay, and username, then the counter, it will take one object at a time from this range, this looping construct. And then here I will say user name, and then the variable will be counter that I have defined, and then add this. So this is there. Department has been defined, counter, range, username, this, yeah. So this is how I will create these user accounts, by defining the values. So demo user 28, 20, 30. So all these user accounts are getting created in the PowerShell. So this is how you can use the looping constructs to perform the operations in a loop. So multiple objects were specified, and then they were created. They were appended over here, user 100, user 99, so demo user. For testing training environments, you can use them. Now let's talk about the groups. So we have the commands to work with groups. So get command by the noun add group, and here we have these commands. So I can get the groups. If I want to make a new Active Directory group, so in this command there are two parameters which are mandatory. One is the name, second is the group scope, that whether it is going to be domain local, global, or universal, the scope of it. Group category is optional because by default it creates the security group. If you want to make a distribution, you can change that. So new AD group name, I name it as demo group. Now this group scope is going to be, I'm creating it as a role based group. So we have role based and rule based groups actually, that concept in Active Directory. So based on the roles of the users, maybe sales, and I'm creating it as, oh excuse me, my bad, it's demo scope. So demo uh, group scope can be domain local, universal, or global. So I'm making it global, this demo group. And then the domain category, if you see that parameter, so group scope is going to be global category, um, group category, excuse me, group category. And if I want to create distributions, then I can create distribution. Otherwise default will be the securities type of groups. So this group will be created. If I don't define the path, it will be created here itself in the Active Directory domain, or I can define an OU where I want to create that. So distinguished name of that, maybe OU equals, where I want to create is demo OU, comma DC equals datum, comma DC equals com, and I will create this group in this location. So the group has been created. Now, if I want, I can add these users to this group, and for that, I can get the Active Directory users. Okay, let's say I filter those users. The users that I'm looking for, I define them in the query here. Let's say their name, name like, and it is with demo. So I want to get all the demo users listed over here, whatever the users I created. Okay. So with this command, I can get all my users with this, and I will copy this command because it is getting all my required Active Directory principles that I want to deal with. Now, we have a command to add users to a group, that is the add AD group member. In this, I can define the identity. This identity is going to be the OU equals demo OU, DC equals a datum, DC equals com. I want to add the members to this, members, and any user that I want to make member of this. For an instance, if I want to create one user member of that group, so I'll make that user account this way. Administrator cannot find the object with this identity OU. Okay, so here it does not require this distinguished name. That's a problem I think that need to be fixed. I mean, sometimes it takes only the single name of the IT objects. So demo OU, and then cannot find the object with this identity demo OU. Oh, excuse me. So I have the option for this rather than looking for the option. OU equals demo OU, DC equals a datum, uh, DC equals com. It was correct. Anyways, I will get the Active Directory group, and active group identity, I'll say this is demo OU I was having. It is not finding it. Fine. So I will say get AD group and filter. All right. So filter where the name like demo and star. It will get, oops, it will get that group with the name demo. Okay. Or I could have defined the literal name of it or the SID of it. So filtered for that required OU. Once you are done with that, then you pipe it into this add AD group member. This time, in fact, I need not to define the identity because it will be piped from this previous command to this. So this group will be piped here. As far as the members are concerned, so I cannot pipe them. So I'm using parenthetical command. And in that parenthetical command, I'm putting get Active Directory users where their name like demo star. It will pick all those users and will send them to this members parameter. It will do the parsing. Okay. Like I mentioned that I've done a video on parenthetical commands, so do visit that video. And now I will hit enter. So what this command does is actually it will add those users to this group. If I get AD group member, then if I say filter get AD group member, and maybe I define this identity, and the problem is that I'm not able to define that identity with this space. So I get this group from here, and then I run this command get hyphen AD group member. I want to know the members of this group. You will notice that all the users have become the member of this group. That's how you can deal with this. If I want to work with the computer objects, then I have the commands for that. So get command by the noun AD computer, and I have commands to create the computer objects. For instance, I want to do the pre-staging of the computer account, so I can do that by creating a computer account in advance. I can list existing computer accounts. So computer account name and test server 1. So that's how I can define it. Now I have created a group. All right, so new AD group. Excuse me about this fluctuation. Actually, the battery of the laptop was draining, so I had to switch it on. Okay, so new Active Directory computer account, and I've created this computer account over here. If I want to remove a computer account, so remove object by defining the identity of it. Identity is test server 1. And you want to remove that, yes. And you know what I'm trying to check is that when I was doing this get AD group member, let me just try this. When I was defining the identity, so I was defining it with this single quote as demo OU. But what I think is that this parameter is already has been typecasted, that the value it will accept will be a string. So I need not to worry about that. No, it will translate it into separate set of parameters. It will not accept it directly. That does not make sense. Okay, I'll give it a final try. So when I was doing this get AD group member, and instead of assuming anything, so this is a best practice for you also. Get command, excuse me, get help, take help. So see my video on getting started with PowerShell. So find the command, then take help for that. This command is actually get AD group member or add AD group member. I'm struggling with any of them to provide the identity. So I'll go with parameter specific help, and this parameter is identity. Actually, I can hit enter by saying hyphen full, but in hyphen full it will show me the help for everything in this command, but that's what I'm not looking for. I'm not looking for examples and so on. There are so many use cases that have been given, so you can take full help of the command and deal with this if you are a full-time Active Directory administrator, and this is your job to manage these Active Directory objects. Well, I'm going with a particular parameter. That parameter is actually identity. So I'm not able to provide that identity of the user. So it is saying that it specifies the Active Directory group object identity, providing the values and these following values. These values can be distinguished name. I don't know what was wrong, why it did not accept that distinguished value that I provided. I did that. So example, it is giving, okay, I provided that OU and then the OU name and something. I can provide object GUID as well. So like this, I can provide security identifier, also the SID. I can provide the security account manager name of that SAM account name. So whatever the SAM account name is this, so it will accept all these values. Okay. And this is how it accepts these different values. And I completely have no idea what's wrong with this. Get AD group and if I get Active Directory group with filter, name equals name or like demo and star. Okay, so this is oh, all right guys, so it was my bad. Actually there is no such object. It was demo group, not demo OU. I was dealing with the group. Okay, so it was absolutely fine. So all those commands were absolutely okay. So it was not demo OU. Okay, demo group. But anyways, it was a fun learning this. I mean, you also figured out like how you can troubleshoot this, how you can check that what type of values the parameter can accept, because it's not limited to this name, same account name of this. It can also accept the SID. Okay, so identity is SID, so it will work with that. It can also accept the distinguished name of it, which is this one. So I can use the distinguished name. It will accept anything, but something wrong I was doing was I was providing the OU that you might have catched very early in this demonstration. And yeah, and you must be thinking like, why the hell I'm providing the demo OU into the Active Directory group. Anyways, it was a good fun learning this. Okay, so that's how we can deal with this. We have lots of commands for the Active Directory module. Tons of commands we have. So you can use these commands to do the day-to-day administration. If I will go with each and every command, as I shown you already that there are 147 commands in this module. You might have additional commands, additional modules also developed by your organization. So it will take, it will be a very long video. It will be, I think, 3 hour, 4 hour, or 8 hours video. In fact, 8 hours are not in fact sufficient, because we have commands to deal with different kind of objects. Constraint delegation I can do. Fine-grained password policies I can configure. Replication, sites, subnets, domains, trusts. I can do most of the management. Even that is not possible through the GUI tools, can be done through the PowerShell support. So the video will be very long. I'll keep it short, and I'll also emphasize that you learn the PowerShell language. Do not try to memorize the commands. Okay. Of course, if you are an Active Directory administrator, so do visit this video and learn some fun related things like creating users in bulk, adding those users into the bulk. Some bulk operations I have shown you, but you need to understand the nitty-gritties of the language, how it works. If you learn that, if you win over that, then you can do the management of anything that supports PowerShell, not only this Active Directory, but anything that you want to manage, be it Exchange, SharePoint, Azure, Office 365 services, SharePoint Online, or Entra ID. Graph module is there for that. I'll do a video on that also for the Entra ID management. So do check the videos in this series. Go through these videos whenever you get time, and learn the entire PowerShell as a language, so that you can manage and support different products through it. I hope this tutorial was informative to you. Thanks for watching, and do subscribe my channel for more videos. Thank you.